Say that again.
I said also in a team, everybody has their own position that they hold, which is independent but yet still dependent on the rest of the team.
Well, yes and no. Because in a more constructive team, each team member not only knows their own job, but at least the jobs of the other people next to them as well. It only becomes helpful when you find, well, I block my man and I see that they're having difficulty, so I can block off and block their man, help them block their man too. You see what I'm saying? But each person has to have a certain amount of faith that everybody showed up to win today. They're aware of each strength, but also aware of each one's weakness. And they are willing to counter.
And they're able to fill in the blank. You know, well, I know this person is weak on the left side, so I'm going to cover a little bit of their left side in addition to my man.
Right. But when you're talking about this in a relationship standpoint, it becomes a whole lot more different because everybody has this kind of personal built-up mistrust. See what I'm saying? Sometimes we all get weak, but we all can't be weak at the same time. Even if it's possible, somebody has to take up the slack. But when everybody feels the need to wait for everybody else to be that person, instead of everybody feeling the desire to be that person, that action could only cause everyone to be in a plus. You know?
And that ties it back to the beginning, where you have, you know, a strong black woman who is taking up a lot of her own slack, but taking up, you know, other people's slack as well, you know, be it husband, wife, children, brother, sister, neighbor.
Right.
But then who takes up her back?
Right. And see, there's where the problem lies, because basically speaking, she can't really observe, in a lot of cases, the mere fact that if you are saving a little bit of yourself to save yourself, then what you're given is not enough, first off. And at the same time, in a lot of those cases, some of the biggest things that hurt a lot of strong women is being conditioned to consider the need to be stronger and the possibility of others being weak at the wrong times. You know? They'll sit back and say, well, I tried. But really, you didn't try, because even though you might accomplish what it was that you felt the need to do, you also felt that there was a possibility that others wasn't. You know? And that can cause conflict, and that can cause non-productivity. Faith in others is a hard thing to build. Once built, can be a reviving energy. When all of a sudden life tests you with Are you sure? You see what I'm saying?
Is that your final answer?
Right. Right. And you go, well, I don't know, man. I'm going to speak just for myself. Well, then the possibilities are lessened. You know, people say if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. But if you don't stand together for something with more of a mindset of the impossibility of failure as a combination of sorts, then you're going to find it very more difficult to actually accomplish anything, because you fear others' weakness. You see what I'm saying? And the bottom line is fear.
Don't trust your weakness.
Right. And the bottom line is fear. Any insecurity will only subtract from a positive direction, only because others are not as trusting that you are in this for the same thing that they're in for. You know? That's what happens in relationships. Any kind of relationship. After a while, you start feeling that they're not in it for the same thing that you're in for. They start looking like any moment they're going to quit. That feeling in itself can cause people to really honestly expect to bail out due to them. You know? They're going to quit. Well, hell, if they're going to quit, then I'll at least save myself.
Or the grass is always greener on the other side.
Right.
That constant pursuit of that perfect person rather than building together the perfect people.
Right, because see, there's no such thing as the perfect person or perfect people. There is only people who are striving for a better perfection, or a person who is built by a stronger dedication to perfection. You know? You're trying to deal with somebody and all they want is a mate. But you want to be a successful company or a successful partner. For them, they've already achieved an accomplishment of being with somebody, but for you, you feel slighted because you're not a productive force together.
Right. So then you start looking at all of the output.
Right. You instantly start entertaining the negative possibilities, when the only thing that could change the outcome of that is actually dwelling more so on the positive possibilities, because everything is a 50-50 crapshoot in life. You know, too many times people be like, man, it ain't gonna happen, it ain't gonna happen, it ain't gonna happen, it ain't gonna happen, it ain't gonna happen. I mean, I got my fingers crossed, but it ain't gonna happen. And then all of a sudden it doesn't happen, and they say, see, I knew it wasn't gonna happen. And never even consider or even think that maybe the one thing that kept it from being possible was that extra portion of positive energy of, hell, it's going to happen. Even if it don't totally happen, it's a plus, because We were trying.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.